Check, check. Oh, we need a microphone for her. Yes. So that is a film that, if released in 2019, would make 0 sense. A true sign of the times, when all of us were making sourdough bread, trying to figure out what to do with our time. Anna Nicholas clearly was mastering writing, because I think that film is brilliantly written. Every line is just perfect. There's one punchline after another, and the characters are incredible. How did this story come about?
Depression. You know, when you're used to making theater and you're usually out and about and doing things and with people, you try and figure out how to make it all work with what you've got. And when you're stuck at home and you start to realize people are doing things on Zoom, you think, well, wow, I just attended a Zoom wedding. Would this be a interesting kind of a hybridized entertainment? So that's how it all started.
I actually, early on in the pandemic, was hired to live stream a wedding that was complicated by being out in the woods. There were maybe 8 people there and about 300 people watching online. So this film kind of gave me tech PTSD, remembering back on how do I pull all that off. But now it's commonplace. And I love the fact that you took a situation that we were all experiencing and finding some hilarity in a very difficult situation that we're all trying to cope with in different ways. And the characters in this are both eccentric and over the top and weird, and yet so relatable at the same time too. Heard a lot of laughs from the grandma character, and of course, the over the top daytime mom that I'm sure is based on Susanna Lucci, very very much so, or
Pretty much.
okay.
And my earliest acting job in New York was on One Life to Live.
Ah, okay.
And so that whole thing about the stolen car parts, that was actually, my character was brought on to make somebody jealous, and I was stealing stolen car parts, or I was dealing in them. And I ultimately got arrested, and the couple got back together. You'll be happy to know. Um, but yeah, so the daytime diva, that is a real person, and the makeup artist, and the poor children of these people, right? So yeah, there's a lot of people were pulled from truth, but then everyone had to be in the same wacky world, you know.
As a reminder to our audience, we have a microphone there and a microphone there if you want to ask a question. I certainly want to know the directing process. We have a lot of filmmakers in this room, and everyone's getting a chance to see what everyone else did, which is wonderful to kind of take bits and pieces. But to direct a film that was entirely shot via Zoom is a very different process from the traditional aspect that we do as filmmakers. How in the world did you put this film together?
This was a challenge. You know, when you're on Zoom, and you've probably experienced this, you are able to press the record button, and everyone who's in that Zoom can accept or agree to be recorded. And all those boxes get recorded and saved together. Well, we wanted the option of putting this online and having the quality hopefully be as good as it could possibly be. That meant getting everyone's sound and picture single. So I did not have the actors all with me when I was recording them. I was doing all the other parts, reading against them, able to watch each one, to direct them, to see the subtleties of what they were or weren't doing. Could you imagine me trying to direct 8 people at once, just watching all their faces at once and going, oh no, I couldn't possibly have watched everybody. But what that meant was that I needed to deliver all the off-screen lines in such a way that I would be able to meet them back up in the editorial process. So I'd had the music in my head of it, the way I imagined everybody speaks, and so that's how we did it. Each person, we said, okay, we're gonna shoot you from 4 to 6 on Monday the 3rd, and they would log on. I would set the recording. My capture editor would be ready, and she'd be listening meticulously. I'd be watching and reading, and then so Michelle was amazing. My collaborator, my principal collaborator, she was able to kind of weave together the story. I mean, I had in my head that I wanted 3 people on screen at once during some of those scenes doing the banter back and forth, but it just didn't work out because either my off-screen line delivery was bad, so that it didn't work out that way, but we had everybody in singles, you see, so we could cut to them. So that was the joy of it.
We have a question over here.
Thanks for the question. I definitely wanted to break that up so not everyone was a talking head the entire time. Um, the 2 guys, we just decided that they were gonna be getting dressed, and that they were gonna start on their legs, and then, they had to focus it. But we all do this, right? When we're on Zoom or we're on FaceTime, and we put the phone over there, and we start cooking, and "I'm here. I'm still here." See from here?
Or accidentally mute ourselves when we're giving a big long speech.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So we just had fun with it, and I wanted to make sure everybody moved into the lens, and or to the computer screen as they would, to make sure that they are seeing what they think they're seeing. But I think, a lot of formal Zoom meetings, everybody is sitting very properly and, just barely moving at all. So does that sort of answer the question? Yes, it was totally intentional. Thank you.
And that touches also on the film style for it. Jumping in and out of the breakout rooms and whatnot. When I first saw this, when you submitted it, I thought, man, why is the film so low res? Like, what's wrong here? Like, it's the cinematography off. Then I realized, oh, it's supposed to be as if I'm watching the Zoom call. So of course it looks like a Zoom call with everyone's various webcams that may be, HD and some are lo-fi and all that. So I loved that touch to it too, is that it puts you like it is, like you're part of the Zoom call and not trying to throw in a lot of the filmmaker critiques that we may be going, the cinematography is slightly off, or the green screen isn't perfect, or the lighting needs to be different. No, this is how someone would actually be in their kitchen or their bedroom.
Right, and we see the pixelation when people change their virtual backgrounds,
Yeah.
and they kind of don't they're not the resolution's not so great.
We have a question over here.
Hi.
A bit raunchy, but still really funny and perfectly in character was fantastic. I wanted to ask you, was there anything during the process of directing and the production over all these Zoom calls that was unexpected that you loved that made it into the final film, or anything improvised that you really enjoyed?
Finding the Michael Bublé impersonator was kind of fortuitous. Um, I went looking for a Michael Bublé impersonator, and the first guy I found in Florida, he really, from all his pictures and everything, he really did look like Michael Bublé. But I said, "Could you just put yourself on tape for me?" And he looked nothing like Michael Bublé. I had no Michael Bublé. And then I got this email from Jamie, who who is the guy, and he is an internationally known Michael Bublé impersonator. And he said, "I'm about to go into not a studio, a concert hall. He was going to do some new videos to promote himself. And would I like to shoot him in there?" Well, obviously, I'm in the United States. He's in Birmingham, England. And I said, well, if you can get somebody to put an iPhone up, or he's like, no, we can use our real cameras that we're shooting our videos with. I'd be like, okay, great. You could probably tell he's not an actor. I was trying to direct him via iPhone while his DP there was trying to shoot him. Anyway, it was interesting. It was crazy time in the morning, but I feel like I could not have gotten those production values. You know, this movie did not cost very much to make. There's all SAG actors pretty much. So I don't know if there are any new filmmakers out there, but you know, most of the films that have been here, I think, have been SAG, Screen Actors Guild, AFTRA. But the contracts now are so great. I was able to get all these fabulous actors in my budget. Jenny O'Hara, who played the grandmother, she's quite experienced. I don't know if you recognized her. She's been on a bunch of shows. She just really took to Bjorn. And, you know, her husband is a friend of mine too. And I had to apologize to Nick because now, Jenny said originally, I'll use this prop, but I'm going to send it right back to you. And then she decided not to send it back. So, Nick, I apologize again.
Every filmmaker in here has had to take on the added burdens of trying to make a film during the pandemic. Your take in our festival, I think, is the most unique approach, in that you are directly addressing it without formally, putting it out there. But it's obvious that this is done. People wouldn't have this kind of wedding unless there were the circumstances, right? You're addressing that in your film, but also the way you shot this is such a fascinating background to it. But also the fact that you were delivering the lines back and forth means that the actors weren't actually seeing each other in the scenes, right? So the actors were only interacting with you.
Actually, no.
Oh, okay.
I needed to get them as singles.
Oh,
so they
okay.
only heard me. They had to look at that green dot like it was the person they were talking to. Yeah, so, but this is not too different from when you get a close-up when you're doing a big movie. Sometimes the actor that the one that's being photographed is reading with, let's say it's a husband and wife. The wife is the single shot, and the husband might be standing off camera, but the husband might be played by Brad Pitt, and he's already gone on to the next movie. So it's some script supervisor reading the husband's lines. So it's acting. We all have to act, and pretend that you're reading with who you think you're supposed to be reading with.
Kind of like, I suppose, some of the big CG Marvel movies or Star Wars, where basically you're an actor playing to a ball on a stick and trying to emote to, like, oh, this is a giant robot that you have to talk to.
Yeah, the tricky thing was when we knew that there would be multiple people on the screen, and we didn't know where we were going to place those boxes. So where were the actors supposed to look if they were looking at the people on the screen that they were talking to? There were multiple people, and they were like in an argument or something. They wouldn't all be looking at that green dot the whole time. So that took a little bit of imagination.
And it's even more impressive because the dialogue in this film is so snappy. It's like there's not a second wasted, where you would think with that there would be pauses of trying to get that timing down right. But it hits back and forth. We've talked before, but it's not a political drama in any way. It's a romantic comedy, but it has the same feel to me in terms of dialogue style as like an Aaron Sorkin type project, where it's just very solid hit, back and forth, constant, with really exquisite. You clearly had a lot of time on your hands to work on this script, because the writing, we all had time to figure out. But I was so impressed every time that I've seen this film in terms of the character interactions and the writing and the dialogue back and forth, which is all the more impressive when the actors were never actually seeing each other. They were just talking to you. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. But I did have the editing process to avail myself of.
We should also note, you are the only filmmaker here who has pulled double duty with us. You have previously been an awards judge for our film festival.
Yes, twice.
Yes. So you know how the sausage is made with our film festival, and
Yeah.
now you chose to compete in it after being a judge. I'm not sure if that gives you any added advantage or not.
I doubt it.
But you you've known that you know at least the process, and so I really appreciate you coming down and being a part of our festival and getting a chance to see the other side. You know all the prep that goes into putting this on, but now getting a chance to be a part of it too. That's wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. So. Yes.
Thank you all for coming to the screening.
We have a poster for you as well for Bride and
Thank
Zoom.
you. That's great.
And with that, that concludes a very long Saturday of feature films. Thank you, everyone, for staying with us. We have one more day of the Klamath Independent Film Festival. Tomorrow is our shorts. We begin at 10:30 a.m. with our K through 12 films. We will continue on until about 7:30, and then we will do our awards. And I please hope that everyone sticks around for our awards. We do something very special with our awards. Roland over here knows because he won one last year. We partner with an amazing group of artists in town called the Southern Cascade Woodcrafters Guild. And they do handcrafted wooden trophies that are specific to the films. So it may be a character from a film or a theme from a film. So you may be getting wooden rings or wooden sperm if your film wins. Uh, so I don't know any other festival that does that, where our awards are not just the same structure, but everything is a one-of-a-kind art piece as well as cash prizes. So good luck to you and good luck to all of our other filmmakers. For now, we certainly hope that we see everyone tomorrow at 10:30 here for our K through 12 films. One of our student filmmakers is right over there. Her very first film that she ever made is going to be shown on a big screen theater. How cool is that? For now, we would like to invite everyone down to the Basin Martini Bar to join us for our filmmaker after party. There's wonderful food, amazing drinks, and it is 1 block away in that direction over on Main Street. So thank you all for coming, and we hope to see you shortly over at Basin Martini Bar. We will see you tomorrow at 10:30 in the morning.